Hello and welcome to today's online live lesson. I'm just going to share the lesson and then we can begin. Let me know how you guys are doing. The weather today it's quite windy. It's hot, but it's windy today. So let's see if I can share the video and then we can begin. Let me know how you guys are doing and how your day's going. Yeah, so in this lesson today, we are going to look at a grammar challenge. So with this grammar challenge, we are going to look at different types of language, and we're just going to see how we get on. So there'll be a little bit of everything and a little bit for everyone. Doesn't matter what the level, there'll be something for everyone today. Hello, Leondina. Welcome to today's lesson. Thank you for joining. I'm actually on time today, luckily. So I'll give people 5 minutes before we get into it, just so more people join us. I think people might have got used to the idea that usually I'm about 3 or 4 minutes late. Today it was I was lucky today because my technology, camera, Wi-Fi, everything worked straight away, which was good. Usually there's always a problem. How are you, Leondina? Hello, Arena. Welcome to today's lesson. Thank you for joining. How are you? So this past week, we've looked at some homonyms. We looked at some Shakespearean phrases that you can use. We looked at what did we look at yesterday? I've already forgotten. Linking words. That was it. We've looked at linking words, and today we're going to look at some grammar. Irina, hello. Good afternoon. Welcome to today's lesson. Thank you for joining. It's the last lesson of the week. It is Friday. And I'm sure all of you have some ideas of what you might end up doing on the weekend. Arena says, thank you, good day, and the week with you was interesting. Thank you very much, Arena. I'm very happy to hear that you have enjoyed the week and that you have found it interesting. We'll still give people a few more minutes, so there are more people. I do expect it is a Friday, and I was earlier than normal, so I think it will take some people a few more minutes to join today's lesson. I hope you're all enjoying your Zoom lessons and that you're able to have you're able to find time to actually speak English as well. I think that's one of the I think that's a difficult thing at the moment. I think for students, if they are in their apartments, they are locked. We're in a lockdown still, and trying to find opportunities to speak English, develop English. It's definitely a challenge. It's probably easier to practice your writing in some ways than speaking. So we will look at the speaking side of grammar as well today, rather than always the written side of things. Okay, guys, I'm going to make a start and then we'll go from there. And when more people join, Alejandra says hello. Hello, Alejandra. Welcome. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining today's lesson. So what we'll start off with is we'll start off a little bit light and we'll develop from there. I think one of the things that we can start off with is just looking at word linkage. It's okay. So this is still grammar, but what words do we use? What words don't we use when we're connecting words? So for example, let me know what you guys think is the correct answer here. So I ask, So on one hand, we've got this. I ask to my mum if she can come. Or I'll ask my mum if she can come. So this is the first. This is the first challenge. Can anyone tell me which sentence is correct? First sentence or second sentence? And if you can tell me what the mistake might be in the sentence that is wrong. I'm just going to look at certain things to begin with. So this is a grammar challenge. I'm going to put out two sentences at a time, one correct, one incorrect, and it's your job to try and tell me which sentence is correct and to tell me what the mistake is in the other sentence. Now, this grammar challenge lesson will help you with a particular task. When you eventually do one of our level tests, you will always find in the reading section a type of grammar question where you have to find the mistake. And a lot of students find it very difficult to find the mistake and to correct the mistake. So this type of lesson will help you with that type of exercise. Leondina says the second one. Let me know, Leondina, is the second one correct or incorrect? I think I asked which one's correct. So I'm guessing you're going for that one. Evelina also says hello. Hello, Evelina. Good afternoon. Okay. If I think I said, tell me which one is correct. So I'm going to guess Leondina. You're telling me that the second one is correct. Okay, guys. How many of you agree with Leondina? How many of you agree with Leondina that the second one is the correct one? Maybe you can tell me why. What's wrong in the first one? Alejandra says correct as well. So you both agree that number 2 is correct. Can anyone tell me what is wrong in the first sentence? There might be more than one thing that's wrong, for all we know. One of the biggest mistakes sometimes is to do with prepositions, knowing if we need a preposition or not, especially in the case of ask, a verb like ask. Okay, so you guys are correct. The second one is correct. It is, I'll ask my mum if she can come. Alejandra says, because for is necessary will for ask in the future. Yes, this is the other thing as well. And you are correct there, Alejandra. So well done. Yes, we are talking about the future. It's a conditional sentence, and therefore we do need will. So that is one thing. Because it's necessary will. Yes, we are going to need will if we're talking about the future. Paolo says the second one is correct because you used the conditional. That as well. So we're talking about the future, and it is a question form, so it is going to be if. So I'll ask my mum if she can come. So that is correct. That definitely is correct. Now, the other thing is the preposition. Ask and to. We aren't going to use to after ask. So I cannot say ask to him. No, I cannot do that. Can you use to ask? Can you use the preposition to before ask? Yes, such as I want to ask you a question, for example. I want to ask you a question. So I can use the preposition to before the verb ask, but I cannot use the verb to, sorry, I cannot use the preposition to after the verb ask. It is simply a no-no. So I can't do that. So we do have to be careful of that. So there were two major mistakes in that first sentence. One, it should be I will, because we're talking about the future. And two, I can't use to after ask, and I can't use to in that sentence. So well done, guys. Let's move on to the next challenge. I would. Okay, next one. I would to go if I could. I would go if I could. Again, we've got two sentences here. One is correct, one is incorrect. Let me know which one you think is correct. And then tell me what is the mistake in the other sentence. So let's see what you guys come out with. With this grammar challenge, I hope that we can look at trying to make sure that we look at common mistakes that we might make, and that way we can correct it. It will also, like I said, help you with one of the tasks in in the reading part of the level test. We always have this error correction one, and it can be really difficult. It tests your grammar. Alejandra, oh, she put her answer, Alejandra, but you've taken away your answer. So maybe you're changing your answer. Let's see. And let's see. What do you guys think? Is number one correct? I would to go if I could, or is number two correct? I would go if I could. This here has a structure of a second conditional. Because we've got if, we've got the past simple, and we do have the infinitive form after would. Leondina says the second is correct. In the first one, the mistake is to after would. Sandra agrees by saying I would go. You're missing if, but I know that's just a typo, Sandra. Yes, you've put it in there. Yes. Second one, so you agree as well, Sandra. Alejandra, second one is correct because we don't need to after would, and Sandra agrees. Okay, guys, really well done. Superb. Bravo. Yes, you are all correct. I would go if I could. Number two is the correct one, and you are absolutely right. I would to go is wrong, and we don't need to. We really don't need to after would. Good stuff. Well done. Now, let's look at another one. Let's go. Hmm. Again, we're looking at another one here. We've got I could done it or I could do it. Which one is correct? Both are talking about the past. Let me rephrase these. I want to give you more context so we can get this one right. Let's go with there we go. Okay, guys, which one is correct? I could ran for hours or I could run for hours. I could ran for hours or I could run for hours. The question we need to think about here is it doesn't matter if you are talking about the past or the present. Whatever happens, one of these sentences is always going to be wrong. So it doesn't matter about context in this case. It doesn't matter if you're talking about the past. It doesn't matter if you're talking about the present. It doesn't matter if you're talking about a hypothetical situation. We're looking at a word structure. So Alejandro says the second, because after the verb isn't necessary, change the time. Okay, guys, let me know if you agree with Alejandra. So Alejandra thinks the second one is correct. Do you agree with Alejandra? Um, so, like I said, guys, it doesn't matter about context with this one. Um, there's one which is always going to be incorrect. Sandra, you agree with Alejandra and Leondina as well. Good. Well done, guys. Yes, you are correct. The second one is correct because it doesn't matter what my modal verb is. It doesn't matter. After my modal verb, I have to use a verb in its present form. I cannot use a modal verb, then put a verb in its past simple form. I cannot do that. And you might think, well, what if I want to use had? I could have done it? For instance, you might say, can I use the past of had? No. You would say, I could have done it. If you're talking about the past, I have to use could plus a present perfect, have done. I cannot ever use I could had done it. So this is an important thing, guys. I cannot use a past verb after a modal verb. It simply is impossible. Okay, guys, you're doing a really good job here. Let's look at the next one. So here we're talking about she said to me or she say to me. Which one is correct? Um, this is reported speech. So we're telling someone what someone else said. So which one is correct? And again, it doesn't matter context. One of these is always going to be wrong. So let's see what you guys say. Which one is it? Is it the first one or is it the second one? Which one is correct? She said to me or she say to me. This can be a difficult one. This can be a difficult one because of there might be a bit of first language direct translation. Um, the answer might not always be obvious. So let's see what you guys say. If all of you get it right, then like the video, everyone who's watching, because this is a common mistake. Alejandro says both of them could be correct. Yeah, okay. Sandra says, Sandra thinks it's just she said to me. Paolo said the first one is correct in this case. Okay. Let's see if there are any other answers over here. Let's see if anyone else would like to have a go. Do I have a glass of water? No, I don't have a glass of water with me. I'll have to wait. Irina says, all are wrong. Is this possible? No. One of them is correct. One of them is possible. One of them can be correct. Actually, one of them is correct. Although there's a bit of language which is unnecessary, because usually we might just want to jump to the pronoun. Leondina says the first one is correct. Yes, guys, the first one is correct. When you're using reported speech, you can either say she said to me that she was going to be late, for example, or you can say she said she was going to be late. So those are your two choices. You can see that she said to me. To me is extra language. It's grammatically okay. It's not wrong. You can use it, but it's extra. It's two extra words that in reality you don't need, because when you say she said to me or she said she was going, if you say she said she was going to be late, we know in context that she was speaking to you. So that's why we don't need to me. But you can, because you can use it if you want to. She say to me, this is a really common mistake that a lot of students make, and I understand why. But just remember, guys, she say to me is always wrong. I cannot use that. Good. Well done, guys. We're doing a great job. Let's move on to the next challenge. So far, we're doing quite well. But now I'm going to introduce another type of challenge here. So let's see which one makes more sense. Okay. Uh, Here, think carefully about the context that we're looking at, okay? Okay, let's see what you guys say. I went to Malta in 2010 to learn English. I have been to Malta in 2010 to learn English. Which one is correct? Now, this is now, I'm now going to make things just a little bit more difficult. We've got the choice between a past simple and a present perfect. Only one of them is correct. One of them is obviously wrong. Can you guys tell me which one is correct? But then, can any of you tell me why, what the mistake is? Can any of you tell me what the mistake is in the option that is wrong? This is not an easy one. If you are elementary or pre-intermediate, this should be quite difficult. If you're pre-intermediate, this is the type of language that you will study, and intermediate, where you're trying to learn when do you use a past simple, when do you use a present perfect. So this type of language is something that you will over in pre-intermediate and intermediate learn how to use. When should you use it? Up intermediates will still make this kind of mistake because it can be difficult. Okay, Alejandra has come in. First one is correct because it's the only one for one time. Interesting, Alejandra. Let's see if other people agree with you. Stefano says, "Good afternoon, teacher. Sorry for being late." Don't worry, Stefano. Thank you for coming. We're currently looking at this problem, Stefano. Which one is correct? I went to Malta in 2010 to learn English, or I have been to Malta in 2010 to learn English. Leondina says the first one is correct because we have a particular moment. Okay. Sandra says, I have been to Malta to learn English is correct. So we don't all agree on this one. Well, I can tell you that the correct answer is, oh, Stefano says, I was simple past. Okay. So if you put down, I went to Malta in 2010 to learn English, you are correct. And well done. You can like the video for yourself for getting this one correct. It's not an easy one. So why is number 2 wrong? Well, first, we're giving a very specific context in terms of the past. We're talking about when an action happened that is now finished. So we're talking about a finished action that happened in the past, and we're being specific about when the action happened. So that is why we would choose the past simple. And 2, there is a mistake in I have been to Malta in 2010. 2010 is a past, is a specific past time marker. I can't use a specific past time marker with a present perfect. If I said I have been to Malta, I've been to Malta to learn English. If I didn't put the year in, that would be okay. That would be correct. I can say I have been to Malta to learn English. Yes, that is correct. But because I put in 2010, my past time marker, I can no longer use the present perfect. It's not an option to me. So the correct answer here is the past simple. I went to Malta, past simple. Let's look at another one. Okay, again, we are looking at a past simple versus a present perfect. Which one do you think is correct? Um, we'll do one more and then we'll move on to another choice of grammar. But I want to do three past simple versus present perfect because they can be difficult to get right. But at the end of this, I think most of you will have a good idea of being able to spot, so find the mistake and why there's a mistake and why there is a difference. Okay, so Stefano, Sandra, both agree it's going to be the past simple. Can you guys tell me why the present perfect is wrong? Why do you think the present perfect is wrong as you guys are choosing the past simple? Let's see, do the rest of you agree? Alejandra thinks it's the second one. Evelina thinks it's the second one. So we're divided on this one. Some of you guys think it's the oh, sorry, all of you. No, all of you agree. Sorry, I misread. All of you agree that the past simple is the correct sentence. You're all in agreement. You are all correct. Well done. Yes, it should be the past simple in this case. Can any of you tell me what is wrong with the present perfect? Stefano says, because yesterday is a past time marker. Yes, well done. It is a past time marker, and that is a problem. Cannot use a past time marker with a present perfect. Why in this example don't you use arrived to or at? I arrived home. Okay. Very good question. When I use the verb arrive and I'm talking about the location, I don't always need to use a preposition. I can say I arrived home. Now, this is mainly because it's the word home as well. I don't need to say I arrived at home. It is unnecessary. I arrived at work. Now, in this case, I arrived at work. Yes, I would use at work. And this is mainly because home. When you are going to use the noun home, I don't really need to use a preposition. I arrived home. I got home. Um, I went home. When I use the word home, I don't need a preposition. And that is why. If I were to use a preposition with arrived, usually I'm going to use at. I arrived at 10 o'clock. I arrived at work. I arrived at school. Usually arrived at is going to be the most common preposition that I'm going to use with arrived. Could I ever use arrived to? I can't think of an example when I would use to be honest. There probably is an example, but I can't think of one. But usually the at is a dependent preposition. So when I use arrived, if I'm going to use a preposition, it's probably going to be at. But it does change. I mean, I arrived. I could also use in if I'm talking about traveling to a different place, like a country. That is a possibility. Anyway, I think I've answered that question. So let's now move on to the next question. Okay, and this might be a little bit difficult, but let's see what you guys say. Um, Context in this one, because both sentences grammatically on their own are correct. I'm going to Russia in May. I will go to Russia in May. The question is, the flight has been booked. This has been confirmed. Now, if the plan has been confirmed, which one is going to be more, which one should should you use? Let's put it that way. This is a confirmed plan. This is present perfect. This is present continuous versus future continuous. Now, it's not to say that if you use one or the other in this case, there's a massive mistake, because the meaning is going to be very similar. But grammatically, if you're talking about a confirmed plan, which one are you going to use? That's the main one. Okay, so Iana, so only Sandra thinks the first one is actually correct. The answer here is, okay, the first thing we need to know is this. Okay, both are grammatically correct, and you can use both to talk about the fact that you are going to go to Russia. But I've just told you which one is going to be more correct. The more correct answer, though, is I'm going to Russia in May. Don't forget, guys, the present perfect, sorry, the present continuous, yes, Stefano says, I'm going to Russia is only to express an intention. Not necessarily, Stefano. When we use the present continuous, we are usually talking about something that is 100% in the future. That is when we would choose to use it. If I'm going to say I will go to Russia in May, okay, you might be, but it's not as strong as the present continuous. So really and truly, if you're going to use the stronger of the grammar between the grammar, it's going to be present continuous. If, on the other hand, let's say, let's say in your mind, you've decided that you will go to Russia in May, but you have not bought the ticket, but you are still very confident this is going to happen, then you will probably say, I will go to Russia in May, for example. Sandra says, will is not a fixed plan. I am right. Yeah, this is it. The thing is, I'm going to is 100%. Will, it usually sounds like it's 100%, but it's not. Will can be anything from, okay, if you add think, then that could even go down. But will on its own is usually anything from 90 to 100%. There's always a possibility that something might not happen. If you put think in, then it comes down. For instance, if I say, I think I will go in May. Oh, that's not 100%. See, now that is, you could probably say 70 to 80% certain. So it think can really bring it down. So will, yes, will does sound like it's going to be confirmed. Maybe it is. It depends on the context. Will can be 100%, but when you're talking about a plan, and this is a confirmed plan, you know it is going to happen, then we use the present continuous. And that's because we know it's going to happen. So if you know it's going to happen, it's the present continuous. Okay, let's look at the next one. We're going to make this a little bit harder now. Sandra says, okay, then I was right with I'm going. Yes, you are correct, Sandra. Okay. Option one. Now, the question here is one of them correct, or are both of them correct? there's a potential reason for this. Stefano says, "I'm going to go to Russia," expresses an intention. If you say, "I'm going to go to Russia," it does express a potential well, it certainly is a very strong intention, because in this case, you've booked the plan, you've booked your flight. We can use lots of language to express an intention, but it depends if the intention is certain. So, like I said, if you know your intention is going to happen, then you use the present perfect. Then you use the present continuous. If there's a possibility it might not happen, if it's not 100%, then you might start to use other forms. Maybe you'll use the future simple. But a good way to remember about the present continuous is whatever you are talking about, you are 100% certain that this is going to happen. That is why we use it. It's a bit like, for instance, if I were to say, it will be sunny in the summer. It's going to be sunny in the summer. Here, I know this is Malta. It is going to be sunny. It's the stronger grammar of the two. And that's the thing. I'm using the stronger grammar when I am when I'm 100% certain of what the answer is going to be. Alejandro says the second one, right? Okay. Sandra said, I had seen them. Alejandro said, I'm not sure. Okay. The answer here is, because we're looking at the present, no, here we're looking at past perfect and past simple. This is what I would describe as, here's an expression for you guys, curveball, okay? A curveball is you throw a ball, and instead of the ball going straight, it does this, okay? So this is a curve. Now, a curveball of a question, when I ask you guys a question and it's a curveball, it means that it's a tricky question, because the answer here is, okay, Paolo says the first one is correct. There were two actions in the past. Okay, so this is it, guys. Both sentences are correct, first of all. They're both grammatically correct. However, Paolo has seen something. He says the first one is correct. There were two actions in the past. And this is what I'm getting at here. I'm talking about two finished actions in the past. So grammatically, which one is more correct at this point? Technically, it is the first one, because I'm using the present perfect to talk about two finished actions. Now, this is the type of grammar that you would find in UK English. In US English, you don't always find the present perfect. You might find them using the past simple more often than the past perfect. So both sentences technically are correct. They talk about the same thing, same meaning, but which one is the better choice in this situation? It's going to be the past perfect, because I'm talking about two finished actions. So if there are two finished actions in the past, I should be using the past perfect. And we as teachers would like to see you guys use the past perfect as well when you're going to talk about two finished actions. And don't forget, you're not telling me the story of the order of these actions. You're just explaining that there were two finished actions in the past. Well done, guys. We've got 5 minutes left. Let's see. I'm going to throw you, maybe I'm going to throw you another curveball as well. Let's go with, Go with. I need to do this because we don't have much time left. So let's go with this one. I'll ask you one more of this, okay? Now, in this case, there's only one correct answer. In this case, there is only one correct answer. Let me know what you think. Again, this is a question of past simple, past perfect. Talking about two finished actions in the past here, so that does give you an idea. Do you think it's the first sentence or the second sentence? Is it the past perfect or is it the past simple? Which one do you think makes more sense? And then we'll have time. We'll have enough time for one more, and then that will bring us to the end of this week's lessons. If there are certain questions, certain topics you would like me to look at next week, please just let me know in the comments section. I'll be more than happy. Irina, you think it's number one? You're going for the past perfect. Okay. Do you guys agree? Do you guys agree with Irina? Is it the past perfect? Evelina also agrees. Leondina agrees. Okay, guys, well done. Yes, the first one, the past perfect. In Stefano says the first one is more British and is more grammatically correct. Though in America, would be correct that as well. Alejandro says one. Okay, guys, in this case, you're all correct. It is number one. You have to use the past perfect. Yes, it's the more British one. Having said that, when we use this, the time marker, by the time I got home, the police left. Because I've got a time marker, by the time, I really can't. I'm gonna find it grammatically very difficult to make two past simple sentences with this. The time marker makes it. The time marker by the time forces me to use the past perfect in this sentence. It forces me to. So well done, guys. Let's look at one last one. Let's go with. Okay, guys, which one do you think is correct? Number one, number two. I will swimming later. I will be swimming later. So this is now a future continuous. Only one is correct. Let me know if you think it's number one or number two. When it comes to the future continuous, there's an easy formula to remember. Irina says two, so Irina thinks number two is correct. Do you guys agree with Irina? Is it I will be swimming later? Let's see if all of you get this right. Leondina says the second one as well. So that's 2 votes for the second sentence. What about the rest of you? Let's see. Can I get 2? Okay. Paolo says the first one. Alejandro says the second. Evelina says the second. Okay. The correct answer here, guys, is number 2. And this is because with the future continuous, I will always need will plus be plus the verb ing, and that doesn't change. Verb ing. Okay. Stefano says both are correct. The second one gives me more the idea of the movement in progress. In this case, no. It has to be the second one. To say I will swimming later is impossible. It is grammatically incorrect because I don't have be. If I'm going to make a future continuous, I need be. And that is how you make a future. Alejandra says be is, yes, you need the be. Well done, Alejandra. Yes. So that is the rule. If you're going to make a future continuous, you need be. I cannot make a future continuous without be. It's impossible. And that brings us to the end of today's lesson. Thank you very much. No, don't worry about it, Stefano. Yeah, that would be a future simple then. Okay, guys. So thank you very much for joining this week and participating in the live chat section. Give yourselves a like on the video for doing so well this week. And you guys did really well in the grammar challenge this week. I think it's been quite successful. Like the video by letting me know if you would like another grammar challenge video next week, and let me know in the comments section if you would like if there's certain topics or questions you might have that you would like me to answer next week. Sandra says, not to worry, Sandra, it's the end of the lesson anyway. You too, Stefano. Thank you everyone for participating. Have a great weekend. Those of you who are watching but didn't participate in the live chat, thank you very much for watching. You're welcome, Paolo. You're welcome. Okay, guys, have a great weekend. Thank you for joining, and I will see you guys next week, starting from Monday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Thank you, everyone, and bye for now. Thank you very much for your lovely comments in the live chat section. Much appreciated. Bye for now.